I'll take ace jack. I'll take ace king versus ace jack anytime. We can go see 3-4
Oh,
streets.
you played it bad. Should have re-raised.
Played it perfect. I've tried to own your ass. I know if I 3-bet, you fold.
I'm not in the Nachman Berlin corner anymore. Just a little too much Brooklyn for me.
Two poker players who talk more than we do, Norman. Nachman Berlin with ace-4 of diamonds, and they're in the muck now.
I trap a guy with ace king. He has ace jack high. I catch my ace. He catches 2 pair. He thinks he outplayed me for half my stack.
King queen of diamonds for Alexander.
He played probably his first tournament in his life. I get him for half a stack.
Berlin won't let it go.
He doesn't hit that jack. I take all of it.
Alexander with a raise to 14,000.
Second tournament in my life.
Second tournament in his life. Yeah. I was going to get him for everything. I knew he has ace high. Trapping him for the whole while for everything.
How much should I bet pre-flop? About 15,000 on that hand? So I was behind when I bet 15,000. I was ahead when I bet about, what, 150, 200,000? They called me the whole way?
You don't know what you're talking about. Honest to God, you don't.
You called 150,000 behind, buddy. You called 15,000 ahead.
The rivalry was born in the big blind. Tom Brabant with pocket kings.
I would have had all your chips.
And he raises to 36,000.
Brabant shuts out the commotion and silently raises his kings. By the way, when I'm asking for more personality at the table, I'm not looking for Phil Hellmuth imposters.
Alexander with a suited king-queen makes the call for 22,000 more. Alexander dominated again. We'll see another flop. 6, 8, 7, 2 diamonds. The pocket kings still best. A flush draw for Alexander. Brabant checked it.
Literally, I had the worst guy on the table. I lose all my chips to him.
That last hand still festering with Berlin. Alexander bets 42,000 with the flush draw.
Close enough, Steven.
Brabant has cashed 12 times in his World Series career.
With the pocket kings.
I'll probably get crushed for the way I knocked the nets
Just a call.
For the what?
For the way I knocked the nets out.
Oh.
All right, so Alexander looking for help.
Alexander in a good mood. I like that. This is the main event.
Oh, and there is help. Alexander steals the hand away with a diamond flush.
By the way, Nachman Amarillo Slim Berlin would have turned the nut flush had he played.
But he's on the sidelines. Brabant checked it. Alexander now with an unbeatable hand. Bet 60,000, a smallish bet.
Brabant is an instructor at Pocket Five's training site, but he's playing this hand like he's a graduate of the Norman Chad School of Poker. Check calling with no idea where he stands in the hand.
He did check call the flop, and now check calls the turn. Alexander loves those cards he's peeking at. River card now, 5 of hearts. Brabant checks a third time. Now Alexander will try to figure how much he can get from his opponent. 200,000.
Well, the call here, Brabant's got to put Alexander on a bluff, or maybe a hand like pocket tens or jacks.
Alexander's bet was 70% of the pot. That's hefty.
200.
Okay. The pocket kings call. Alexander wins with a king-high diamond flush.
Norman Chad School of Poker. Our motto, passive but not profitable.
The king-high flush wins a big pot.
I had ace-4 of diamonds.
Yeah, doubled up.
That would be so sick. He'd be, because he definitely called with king.
Oh, absolutely. I'll snap it off and flip it over like I got the nuts.
No, you would have gotten cooler. It's not.
Right.
Yeah, I would have flipped it over like I had the nuts. You'd show me your hand and not been sad.
So that two-man show continues at the feature table.
A smart style poker, waited for a spot, waited for ace-king, and now he has another opponent dominated to put him up in the 40 million range if his hand holds up.
Dominated. I mean, he's got Collins in a pretty bad spot here.
2 of the 3 Americans clashing here. Collins, one of the pre-tournament favorites, at risk and in severe trouble. And it's King 5 Trey. No help to Collins.
A diamond makes it interesting.
A diamond,
A ton of diamonds really makes it interesting.
I was just going to say, how about the 10 of diamonds for a little sweat back here in the booth?
Ben Lamb's crowd rooting for Lamb to pick up the last remnants of Collins' stack. You see the outs. Collins looking for to win it here on the turn. The turn card. 10 of diamonds. So Collins now picks up the flush draw.
Didn't I call that card? Now it's interesting.
It's all staged.
Not at all, by the way.
And you see the outs up top that Ben Lamb have to fade to score the knockout.
It makes it a very interesting sweat, Antonio.
This is a 30 million chip pot with one card to come at the World Series of Poker final table.
And Lamb doesn't want an ace anymore.
Collins with the flush and straight draws.
There's a lot of cards Lamb doesn't want.
And now the river card. The Queen of Diamonds.
Oh my God.
Phil Collins survives with the rivered flush. 4 diamonds on the board. His jack of diamonds brings him that 28 million chip pot, and that put a hurt on Ben Lamb.
Oh my God. That's all I can say.
If you're sitting there in Ben Lamb's seat, that's got to hurt. I mean, that's pretty bad. Is Phil Collins running good?
Phil Collins is running good. It had been a rough when somebody's got their stare on you.
Absolutely. I try and do the same thing every single time. I try and grab the cards with my left hand, play with chips with my right hand, and always look at the same place.
Do you practice that? Or
I practice when I play.
Okay.
You know, when I'm at the table, I try and always focus in on that. And Hines is going to go for the 4-bet here.
Raise.
He is Hines now. Swats the ball back into Stashko's corner.
How many 5-bets have we seen heads up yet?
I don't think we've seen one. Yeah. We haven't seen a single one. And earlier we saw Hines do this with ace-3 offsuit.
19.9 million. Do the math. Stashko needs just over 10 million to call.
I don't see Stashko as a light 5-better. By that I mean that if he puts in the 5th bet here, I think I'm just probably going to have to believe him. He doesn't have someone relaying information back to him. He hasn't been told that Hines had the ace-3 offsuit earlier when he 4-bet him.
As mentioned, if you need the scorecard, Hines has Stashko covered by less than 1 million chips. And Stashko lays it down. And they were both with weak holdings.
What a play, Hines. We've seen him 4-bet with 9 high and ace-3 offsuit. A lot of heart.
And the Hines hoodies are on their feet.
We have a new chip leader.
Oh, he had the chip lead by less than 1 million when the hand started. So, but 113 million for Hines, 93 million for Stashko, and P.S. Hines has now regained his position that he held for most of Sunday's action here.
Boy, he looks a little.
Goes group.
Hines is taking a semi-significant lead here. He has 125 million to Stashko's 80 million.
He's pushed it beyond a 3-2 chip lead for P.S. Hines. But both of them have come back and forth. No one's been in grave danger yet. And they've both made some pretty good plays, especially the more aggressive player seems to be the one who's going to get the chips most of the time.
I loved Hines' 2 4-bets here with the 9 high and the ace-3 offsuit. They were beautiful.
Check.
All right, a cheap flop for both of them. Four, 5, 8, 2 hearts. Are there any Las Vegas stores that still sell plaid shirts, I wonder? I mean, they had to find them somewhere for Stashko's supporters.
That's right. Well, not everyone has a plaid shirt, so I think they ran out. But I usually go to JCPenney's for my plaid shirts.
Okay.
I can see you as a JCPenney kind of guy. You know,
pushing the lawnmower on Saturday with a plaid shirt.
And the lawnmower is also from JCPenney.
Hines bets 2 million on that flop.
That's very standard for Hines. When Stashko calls on the pre-flop on the button, there's 5.6 million out there going into 3.6 million going into the flop. Hines is consistently betting just about 2 million.
Stashko called for 2 million. King of spades.
So Hines has to give Stashko credit for something, given that he did call the flop.
What a mental battle this has been tonight.
between two very strong poker minds and relatively inexperienced poker players to be playing at this level,
Yeah, live heads up for so much at stake. Life-changing money.
Now, both took up poker about 5 years ago.
So Hines putting him to the test for $4.5 million.
So Hines bet the flop, and the king comes out, and he just keeps firing. So basically, he's saying the king doesn't scare me.
Stashko doesn't appear to be worried either.
Certainly, Stashko's not going anywhere with a 5, 8, or king in his hand.
Another 4, the 4 of spades.
Sometimes P.S. glances over at Martin as if to say, who are you? I mean, I keep betting and you keep calling. What gives?
Get out of my yard.
If Hines has an 8 in his hand, I wouldn't be surprised to see a value bet. I think that he would know that his 8 is probably the best hand. He'd probably bet it for value. There is something to be said about Stashko having a draw and Hines hoping to induce a bluff by checking the river if he has a real hand.
Check.
Well, this will be the last hand at this level. Just 20 seconds remaining.
Certainly, I think Hines has something that can win in a showdown. If he had a complete bluff, I think he would go for it one more time here on the river. Perhaps a 5 or an 8 in his hand. I think it's more likely as an 8 in his hand. Now Stashko is going to be telling an interesting story. Well, I called you on the flop. I only called you on the turn, but now I'm going for a bet on the river here. Certainly any draw that he missed, he's going to bet the river because he probably can't win in a showdown.
And here is the bet from Stashko, 9,750,000.
God.
I don't think so.
And a fold from Hines. 7-6 for the straight for Stashko.
Flopping the nuts and trying to trap Hines. Wow.
And Hines just went away on the river.
And it came perfect for him on the turn. I mean, that's a pretty dangerous board. A lot of cards can come to slow down the action or perhaps induce Hines to go on with his bluff.
Well, Hines now with a little smaller lead. He has 116.9 million. Stashko up to 89 million as the players will take a break here at the Penn and Teller Theater. Hines with 57% of the chips in play, 43% for Stashko. But those roles have been reversed. It has been a fascinating championship table tonight. We started three-handed. We're now heads up. P.S. Hines, Martin.
Corey should have called for 4,000. See what the flop brings. He had position on Barry and everything.
Gus Hansen opens up with pocket 5s. He raises to 2,100. Negrano with pocket 6s raises to 5,000.
5.
Action folds around to Esfandiari with his ace-queen.
Out of position against Gus and Daniel Negrano.
That's exactly what Antonio is thinking about. He's out of position against Gus and Daniel, and he's throwing away ace-queen. Not going to put in 4,400 more.
And Hansen calls at 2,900.
Yeah, probably not.
Flop comes 9, 6, 5.
Wow.
Oh.
Both players have flopped sets. Daniel's got 3 6s. Gus has got 3 5s. Gus is going to lose a lot of money in this hand. Only thing that could save him is maybe a 7 or an 8 coming up and slowing down the action on the turn. Gus is trying to figure out what to do here. He's going to raise.
Here.
That's the right move. You don't want someone coming in here with a hand like 9-8.
He raised to $26,000.
26,000. 122.
And Daniel is just going to call. He's going to let a card come off. I like this move by Daniel. Gus is convinced he has the best hand now.
Turns another 5.
Wow! Gus has made quads. Gus Hansen has quads, and Daniel Negreanu has 6s full.
Unbelievable.
This is trouble. Trouble in River City for Daniel Negreanu.
The previous hand, I had the queen 9 deuce. So I won 21 and I lost 4, so I won 17.
The other players seem oblivious to what's going on in this hand.
Hansen bets 24,000.
Gus is trying to appear as calm as he can with quads.
98, 99.
He's not giving anything up. Negreanu calls at 24,000.
Daniel's slow playing his full house. Daniel thinks he has the best hand.
And the river's at 8.
Both players like that card. Both players want the other player to make a straight. And Gus checks his quads.
And then you won 17 here.
Great play by Gus.
You got your lost 2. I lost you. I lost 2. Barry won 4.
Now, if Gus did have 7-5, Gus has made a straight here.
Right here, I won 17.
The main thing is Daniel feels he has the best hand. And there's no reason he shouldn't feel he has the best hand.
74. Okay, that's where I'm making a mistake.
He's feeling the right amount to bet is
$65,000.
$65,000.
96.
I'm all in. Huh? I'm all in. How much more is it?
That shocked Daniel.
Wow.
Count his.
Wasn't expecting it.
The pot now stands at over $400,000. Even without Daniel calling, this stands as the biggest pot in the history of high-stakes poker.
And if Daniel calls, it'll be almost $600,000.
Unbelievable.
Daniel knows that Gus is a loose player. But I don't think he thinks he's loose enough to make this kind of bet on a bluff.
How much? 167.
Daniel's got to know that Gus has a hand. What he's trying to figure out is, does it beat his hand?
He might have the nuts. You're missing a big pot here, Eli. It's a big pot here. You just raised me 167. It's a big pot. I better have something if I'm going to call, right? If I lose this pot, it's a pretty bad cooler. Pocket 5s, pocket 9s, maybe a pocket 8s. Ooh, that'd be sick, too. That would be sick.
Well, you're right, Daniel. It's one of the above.
Yeah.
What else would Gus Hansen be raising you $165,000 with? And Daniel decides to call.
Oh, so sick.
Shows in the 5s.
So sick. You had one out.
I believe you. I wasn't too happy on the flop. But once the turn came up.
Wasn't too happy. Meanwhile, he rakes in a pot over $575,000. Negreanu's 10-9 at hearts, raises to 2,000. Lindgren calls with his pocket 8s.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
You'd have to pick around it.
I don't eat the cheese either.
Oh, you don't eat cheese anymore, right? You told me that.
David Gray keeps on talking.
Oh, you got that. You're drawing dead on that bet.
You're not over 140
I'm
yet?
140. Yeah, I'm over 140.
All right, I got a shot.
He's got a 170 number.
You got to be over
lifetime. Yeah. If I'm ever over... Oh, somebody call?
If you're ever over 170?
I lose like 20,000 to him. He laid me 20 to 1.
If I'm ever under 170.
I laid him 20 to 1. He gave me $1,000. Huh? No, he paid me already. And if I'm ever over, then I got to pay him the whole thing back.
That's it. Yes, stiff.
Daniel Negreanu flops a straight, and Eric Lindgren flops a set.
He bets 4,000.
You can make me that bet.
Lindgren calls.
One more time, Daniel Negreanu flops the nuts. And look at this. Eric Lindgren makes quads. It's happening again to Daniel Negreanu. He's flopped the nuts one more time, and Eric Lindgren, like Gus Hansen, has made quads, and Eric Lindgren is not acting as fast as Gus Hansen did.
Eric just calls.
Probably putting Daniel on a queen.
Ace of hearts on the river. Negreanu bets 25,000.
sick. How can I flop the nuts every single hand and lose? What in the world is going on? Are you kidding me?
That was a no.
You gotta be just kidding me.
Have you played any of those out here?
Daniel, who's generally very mild-mannered, has reached the end of his rope here.
Oh, yeah.
This is about the 4th, 5th time that he's flopped the nuts and he's gotten raised on the river.
What good is it?
He's called every time.
Oh, brother, man.
Now, if any time you shouldn't call, it's this time.
You gotta just be kidding me.
There is nothing that he can beat except a bluff.
Thanks.
Eric is not raising with ace-queen. He's not raising with queen-jack.
Oh, man, this is just so sick.
He might raise with king-10.
How much is it? He doesn't have king-10. We know that.
That's what, 50?
Daniel has eliminated that hand. Doesn't look like Daniel's going to get away from this.
I just don't. I don't know what he has. I have no idea. I'm just going to call. Full house is good. 4-8s. 4-8s. That's about right. This just gets sick. It's so sick.
When Daniel watches this, I think he's going to realize what a bad call that was.
And his second greatest poker accomplishment was finishing 3rd in last year's Rochambeau competition.
So at this final table, Rafe actually trying to get something good to put on his poker resume. He does have pocket aces. He will limp into the pot. Action on George Bronstein with king 10 offsuit.
I call.
He's going to make the call.
George says queen 10 was good for Rocky, so king 10 is good for me.
Big blind, CK Wah, 7 deuce offsuit, no raises.
I raise.
CK's going to raise it here, though.
Ooh.
With 7 deuce, you're not supposed to play 7 deuce.
That's a side of CK I haven't seen before. Takes the worst hand in Hold'em, going to raise from the big blind, sensing weakness around the table. Of course, he's wrong.
CK raised pot, 60,000 chips. Rafe limped in with the aces.
I don't understand that. With aces, you want to raise and either take the pot down or go heads up against the weaker hand.
Maybe I'll get out.
George sees too much action around his king 10, so he'll fold them. All right, 7 deuce against the aces. Oh, trip 7s for CK. Wow, what a time to play 7 deuce.
And ouch for Rafe. If he raises pre-flop, CK is gone.
CK first to act after the flop. He bets 55,000 chips.
And Rafe might not mind that. He might be thinking, hey, maybe Hua hit his queen, and that's what he's betting on.
55,000 is the bet. Rafe first taking a lot of time. And he'll make the call here.
And again, just the call, I think Rafe believes he's trapping CK right now, but the trap has bit him back.
So the aces of Rafe first in a lot of trouble against the trip 7s for CK Wah. 3 of clubs on the turn is no help to Rafe first. CK Wah keeps his advantage. CK checks it over to Rafe first.
Boy, both these players have a license to trap.
Now Rafe first reaching for chips. CK does not seem all that worried.
53.
53,000.
I thought he might bet 52 there, Lon, but, you know, he'll play it his way. And CK has gotten what he wanted, I believe.
I call.
And Rafe will call with those aces.
Yeah.
And news filters over to Phil Gordon and friends.
Thank you. Way back.
But not all the news.
Oh, Pretty Boy celebrated too soon. Pretty Boy is crestfallen. And he realizes his best friend is toast.
So Rafe first aces in danger of being cracked by the 3 7s of CK Wah. 1 card to come on the river.
CK got lucky, trapped Rafe, and now is about to eliminate him. First needs an ace, or he is whamboozled.
And now the river card. Oh, he got the ace! Oh!
That's what I'm talking about! Like you knew it was coming!
Well, Rafe first played that perfectly, I think.
Well, CK was the one who played it perfectly after the flop and is stunned at the result. And Rafe rises from the dead into the chip lead.
Wow.
Rafe stopped.
It's over. I mean, he's 5% to win. He's 5% to win.
Look, it's all good.
think O'Mahony is going to play now.
Yeah.
Raised 6,000 total.
Oops. It spells trouble for Hickman.
You hate to see a cold deck hand happen, but Daz Hickman is about to be on the back end of some awful cards. And, in this particular format, Ken, it's really hard
20,000 more, 20.
to get off of this kind of situation, big pair against big pair,
Yeah,
isn't
folding queens, I don't know how. It would be hard for me to fold queens in this format, I'm telling you that.
The re-raise is 20,000 more. Oh, wow.
Wow! Look at this. Talk about cold deck.
Queens versus kings versus
Oh,
aces.
look at that face. Yum, yum, yum. I like the sweets.
Achilles.
Sweets for my sweet, sugar for the daddy.
And the Oscar goes to... There he is.
No, that was quite imminent. I just knew it was going to happen, but I just didn't. I was trying to work it. You might do it in a minute.
How many pocket pairs are out here?
I'm surprised.
Many.
No, got off
4 pocket pairs. 5 pocket pairs. Wow. That's amazing.
Anyway, if you've got a hand, I've got a hand. You really don't want to play.
It's gotten very fortunate for Dale Hoy and Johnny Houston that they don't have to stick a chip in the pot. But what is O'Mahony thinking right now?
Thank you, Lord. Give me another one. Oh, he likes his hand for sure.
We could see a triple all-in. And O'Mahony's asked for a count. I mean, he is a conservative guy. He's wearing a blue blazer
He
for
can
crying
never
out
fold
loud.
kings. Folding kings would be a big mistake in the long run. If you start trying to second guess yourself, trying to make big laydown with kings, you just, you know. Wow!
Oh,
wow.
my.
He trusted his instincts, and they were absolutely right.
I've never ever seen kings folded pre-flop in this format before, and I mean that's one of the greatest laydowns we've ever seen.
The great play, and he gives the trouble to Hickman instead.
Yeah, Hickman would have found it much easier to fold these queens.
Cool.
If O'Mahony had folded, and look at this! O'Mahony is going to pat himself on the back 6 ways to Sunday, while Hickman...
I'll give you one guess what I folded. Ace,
Kings.
7.
Kings.
Oh, wow. He's pretty pleased with himself.
No matter what happens from here, O'Mahony feels like he won. Of course,
no king.
We're liable to see a few kings on the flop.
He doesn't want a king.
I'm not even going to ask you.
Told the dealer no king.
Now, the only good news for Hickman here is that he's not all in.
Yep.
But he's going to be short-stacked unless a queen comes.
Well, he looks like a ladies' man. That's the king. Oh. It's like, Lady Luck always rewards bad play and punish good play. She's got a weird sense of humor, that's for sure.
It really does. Dan Harrington proved right here. Poor Dennis Mahoney.
How about a 5 for a straight?
Well, anything but a queen. Hickman's drawing to 2 cards here. And that's it.
5 of hearts.
Oh! 3rd place! For Achilles Kalakis with the 2 aces. What a hand! A queen on the river.
Hand. Give me some water. Wow.
That's tough.
Keep what a hand.
Deck is colder.
Tell you, Helmuth gets a lot of grief from a lot of people in this industry, but he truly is one of the best poker players in the world. I enjoy watching him. I enjoy playing with him. I even enjoy hanging out with him.
Well, nobody here seems to want to play this hand. It's folded around to John Juanda on the button with Jack 10 offsuit. He's going to raise it up, make it 700 to go. And right behind him, John Murphy has ace 10 offsuit. He's going to make the call.
Well, a lot of times you're going to re-raise a guy that's opening the pot on the button when you hold an ace 10 out of small blind, but Juanda's going to get a lot of respect. These guys know Juanda's a great player.
Well, Markholt out of the big blind also makes the call. 3-way flop between Murphy, Markholt, and Juanda. Flop comes down queen, deuce, deuce.
Well, not the flop that Juanda wanted to see. He completely missed it.
Both Murphy and Markholt checked it. Maybe he thinks that they don't want this pot. I'll take a swing at it.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to get check raised here. Well, Juanda was the pre-flop raiser. Let's see if he's going to make a continuation bet in light of both of these players checking to him. But don't forget, he's up against the blinds, and we have 2 deuces on the board. He has to proceed with caution here, and he does just that. He bets $1,200 into a $2,100 pot.
John Murphy, who also missed this flop, and he has ace high. He's going to make the call.
Great instincts by the kid here. He makes the call with ace high.
Markhold gets out.
He's figuring he's good. Look at the looks they exchange.
So our heads up between Murphy and Juanda. Here's the turn. Turns a 7 of diamonds.
Well, that changes nothing. Murphy still has the best hand by a mile here.
Murphy's first. He checks. Let's see if John Juanda can take another swing at this. We know that if he makes a big enough bet, he can probably move Murphy off it.
Well, neither player has anything.
Well, it takes a good player to fire out a bluff at a pot, but it takes a really special player to fire a second bullet into a pot. He says, kid, I'm a PPT champion. When I bet, you fold.
In poker, your job is to make good decisions, and John Juanda is famous for making good decisions. Right here, he decides a $2,175 bet is going to do the job. It is a great bet. I don't see how John Murphy can call now. Well, it looks like he's going to make the call again.
Oh, my gosh. John Murphy's my hero. He makes a call with ace high, Mark.
That is unbelievable. What great instincts this kid has. What table presence this kid has.
Mark, the river is a third diamond. It's the 5 of diamonds.
Well, that's pretty much a blank here.
Come on.
And Murphy says he's all in. We know he has the best hand, but what a move. Murphy doesn't know that Juanda has nothing and that Murphy has him beat. Juanda's going to lay the hand down. Murphy now outplaying the veteran, the first PPT champion, and a heck of a player, John Juanda. Murphy just played him right there.
Elsewhere, Ray Romano has settled into his new table. He's concentrating on the poker, but he's not in the hand. In fact, there is a big hand developing between Justin Phillips and Motoyuki Mabuchi. Mabuchi made a bet after the river onto that scary board. Phillips now fires back with a raise.
Has Justin Phillips got the shirt off his back?
Action on Mabuchi. He's all in. Phillips turns over a royal flush. Mabuchi, quad aces.
You gotta be kidding me. Quad aces, your last hand of the main event.
What a way to hit the rail.
There's nothing more ultimate than that.
That is a statistical improbability, my friends.
That's good. What a horrible river card for you.